the guy on first base?
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
And what's the guy's name on first base?
So what is on second?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on third?
I don't know.
Oh, he's on third.
Welcome to the first episode of the off-season gradings. It is me again, Twan. With me is the Barnacle.
That's me.
And the Ollie.
That's me.
Yes.
Welcome. I am the Ollie. There are no others.
No. Ever.
There are a lot of barnacles.
There can be only one.
There can only be one. Just a quick disclaimer. Barney is pretty jittery. He had 6 cups of coffee already.
Yeah, that's what we're calling it now.
I don't really know what I'm disclaiming. It's just I wanted you guys to know.
Yeah, in case there's a tremor that comes through on the mic.
Exactly. Or you guys are like, what's going on with Barney today? That's
if you guys see something that measures on the Richter scale in Leuven, Belgium on the 13th of February 2021.
That's what it was.
Why don't you just DDoS us ourselves?
Yeah. Come find us.
So the point of the season is, as Ollie mentioned previously in the Baseball Banter podcast, is that every self-respecting talking thing about sports or a sport discusses the off-season.
Even the ones that don't respect themselves, like us.
The ones that don't respect themselves, and that is us. So we're going to do that division by division, starting with the AL East, which is what we're doing today. Maybe just a quick overall look from our AL East expert, which is Ollie, because he's an Blue Jays fan. What is your overall quick take on the offseason of the AL East teams?
Evil Empire, gonna Evil Empire. They're coming back. They got a lot of big signings. Jays were a wild card team last year, and they're looking to do more of the same this year. Maybe even be a little better than they were last year. Rays. Rays lost the World Series.
Just go on to the next one. Rays.
No, I was confused because it said lost wild card to Rays in the notes. No, they lost the World Series. They're looking to go back again this year, I think. Red Sox have been terrible the last few years, and they are shedding salaries like there is no tomorrow. So they are
a lot of it.
Still doing that. And Orioles gonna Oriole, so they're bad. Gonna stay real bad.
Right, we could end the pod there, but we won't. We'll go a little bit more in detail. I think that's a pretty good overview. Let's start Evil Empire first, the Death Star. The Yankees, they finished 33-27 last year. They lost a division series to the Rays.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of losing to the Rays here.
Sorry?
There's going to be a lot of losing to the Rays here.
Yeah.
That's just what this division did last year.
That's what this is all about, right?
Losing to the Rays?
Yeah. I mean, especially last year. I can remember them going 5-15 at a certain stretch last year where they lost 10 games in a row. That was fun. Rough for Yankee fans.
That was very fun for me.
It was fun for you.
Yeah.
Not so much for Yankee fans.
I enjoyed it a lot.
So we can talk notable losses. I think most of them are yet to really be a loss because James Paxton is still out there, so they could.
Yeah, Paxton and Gardner both are still on the free agent market, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the big loss for them is Masahiro Tanaka.
He went back to the NPB, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said basically, I want $15 million from the Yankees, or I'm going back to Japan.
And they did not give him $15 million.
No, the Yankees said no. We'll give those $15 million to other players. And I mean, Tanaka is a very consistent pitcher. I don't know if he's a $15 million a year pitcher.
The Yankees certainly didn't think so.
No, and other teams didn't either.
And they also lost J.A. Happ.
He went to the Twins?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, they had they had an option on Happ for I think 15 million or around 10 million, and they released him, and that's arguably a good thing.
But they certainly picked up enough to replace those guys. They picked up the Klubot, Corey Kluber.
Yeah, go ahead and dive right in, Ollie. The notable acquisition. So you mentioned Klubot. I think that was a surprise. The number was a surprise, I think.
Yeah, that seemed low for me.
Oh, I thought it was high.
Yeah. Corey Kluber has some serious upside, though.
Yeah, but he hasn't pitched for 2 years.
That's fair.
So,
still.
Juan, you got to pick a side on these guys who haven't pitched for a while? Are they upside or are they downside?
Like I said when we were discussing Ken Giles, it's all about the money. Like if you pay a guy for 2 years, you pay him $6 million. Sure, that's low risk enough. I think Corey Kluber should not have gotten $11 million. I'm happy for him that he did. He performed pretty well in his showcase apparently. They also traded for Jameson Taillon.
Yeah,
which is I think is a really good trade. Again, a guy who hasn't pitched in a while. He's recovering from Tommy John. So yeah, that basically reinforces the idea of the Yankees rotation being Garrett Cole and the question marks. So they got Garrett Cole at the top, Jameson Taillon at 2, Corey Kluber at 3.
And then what?
Jordan Montgomery as 4, Domingo Germán as 5, and Luis Severino as 6.
I feel like Severino should be higher on that list.
Yeah, I think he's still recovering. That's probably why they projected him to be a number 6 starter. So I think like the rotation.
They got rid of Ottavino. They got rid of Ottavino for cash.
Yeah, but that's a bullpen.
Okay. Picked up Darren O'Day in relief.
Yeah.
And of course they dumped a dump truck full of money in front of DJ LeMahieu's house.
They sure did.
Yeah, I think it was, they had to resign DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah.
I don't think he was more valuable to any other team than DJ LeMahieu was to, kind of like a Real Muto to Philly kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where basically the team that lost him had to re-sign him. LeMahieu fits in, is a great top of the order hitter. Has a great oppo swing, which works well with the short porch in right field at Yankee Stadium. 6 years, $90 million means that they can spread out the AAV so that they can stay under the luxury tax, which is also important apparently.
Yeah. I think the Yankees are done for the offseason also. I think they're in a good spot for the season. Like we might see it.
I could see them pick up one of those starters, like James Paxton or Tyon Walker or an Odo. Maybe not Odorizzi.
That seems like a lot of money for them to still drop.
It's a lot of money, but they are the Yankees. That's kind of what they do.
That's fair.
And they could use a little bit more consistency in their rotation. I mean, the potential upside of these guys is astronomical, but we don't know if that's what we're actually going to see.
Yeah. I think I was thinking
Walker,
maybe like a low-level starter.
Yeah.
I think potential downsides for this team are their bullpen doesn't seem as stacked as it could be.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, their offense.
Chapman, Zach Britton, and who else?
Darren O'Day's, Reggie McClain was decent for the Phillies last year, which says a lot. Chad Green. There's a bunch of question marks.
Yeah.
Very top heavy, and then no real depth. So it's going to be interesting to see like how they can how those arms will deal with the shortened season, and then coming back to a 162 game season. Yeah,
I'm curious to see how the Yankees will deal with injury if and when it comes.
Definitely.
Yeah, that has plagued them in the last couple seasons, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and then from an offense side, they're basically they're a powerhouse.
They got the big bats.
Yeah, I don't really see a weak spot in their lineup. I mean, if you can
that's a good
Gary
lineup.
Sanchez as your number 9.
I think you're doing all right. Yeah.
I think that it's the same thing as before. It's injuries. So you got Aaron Judge who gets injured a lot. You got Giancarlo Stanton who gets injured a lot. Gary gets injured a lot. I think Aaron Hicks gets injured a lot. Glaber gets injured a lot. I mean, I think for the Yankees, it's all about staying healthy.
Yeah, wasn't there a point last year where like half of their starting 9 were injured?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it wasn't necessarily last year. There was a year where they Yankees with potential WAR loss to injuries was incredibly high. I think it was 2019.
Yeah, maybe my pandemic-addled brain is still thinking that 2019 is last year.
Would be. Yeah, I can't find the number immediately, but anyway, they have an extremely deep lineup as long as everybody's healthy. That's basically the idea. So Pacoda has them winning 97 games at 81% odds to win the division.
Those are good odds.
193 million. So they are looking to dominate their division this year.
Yeah, I think anything less is a disappointment.
Yeah.
Especially given the way the last 2 seasons have gone.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that again just hinges on injuries.
It really does.
The reason we've seen them so close to 500 recently is because of those injuries. So if that keeps up, then I wouldn't necessarily be surprised to see them at a similar place. Or if there's rotation falls apart like some people expected it could.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they need to stay healthy for a season. All right. Moving on.
Then, what are we grading their offseason? I'm giving them a B-. Don't know about you guys.
This seems like a C+ to me. Like, there are a lot of question marks in that rotation still.
Yeah.
Like, they can definitely improve the grade by signing a starter.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I give them a C+ as well for the same reason.
All right, so I guess our overall numbers and a C+ for the Yankees. C+.
Yeah.
The Yankees offseason.
Yeah.
Which is like, considering the fact that they're still going to dominate their division, apparently, according to Pacoda. I mean, not too shabby.
I think that's been expected of them for years, though. We give them one more year to see if they can actually make anything with this set of guys.
The baby bombers are supposed to become real bombers now. So, all right, moving on to Toronto. Ollie, I suggest just take it away.
All right.
That's your team.
Yeah. Lost Taijuan Walker. He was traded from the Mariners middle of last season, but that was the last year of his contract anyways. So I don't think they were expecting him for longer than that. And Ken Giles is out with Tommy John surgery and also became a free agent. And also the Jays have like 3 guys who combined to be the closer last year. So they can tell any of them to step up and take that job already. In the meantime, for a while there, they were always the bridesmaid and never the bride in every big free agent signing.
That was beautiful time.
It was not. That was painful. And then finally, they signed George Springer to a huge deal. I would have rather it be any other free agent that is not from the Astros.
Yeah, I think the Blue Jays are cheaters now.
Yeah. I did consider for a little bit just like changing my favorite team because of that.
Hey, I've been there.
I considered
wanted to change my team earlier this offseason as well, but I stuck around and look how happy I am now.
Yeah. Also picked up David Feltz, traded for Steven Matz, who's a pitcher with some upside. Marcus Semien picked up from his A's stint.
A lot of money.
Yeah. A lot of money for 1 year.
Million.
Good player, though. Very good player.
But they're also expecting to be a very, very good team this year. Like, that's what they want. They want Bo Bichette, Vladdy, Teoscar Hernandez, and Kevin Biggio all to step up big time this year and just become a monster team.
I think they're going to be a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
Basically, like, this year is still a test year, or like not really a test year, but like a year of like, okay, this is fun. These guys will be fun. And then next year will be the year where they have to perform.
Yeah, I think
it's kind of weird that they pick up, 5 notable 1-year contracts?
Yeah. I think they're actually trying to compete this year. And I think these are tryout. I think these are tryout deals for a lot of these guys. So I think if they play well with this team, then they'll get relatively big extensions from the Jays.
That seems about right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Still missing a big starter, I think.
Yeah.
Like they have 7 projected starters, but I think they're still just missing one big guy.
You think they're going to re-sign Taijuan Walker? You think he's big enough to fill the shoes of that empty starter spot?
They definitely could.
I could see them make a run for Odorizzi. Get him on a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
Take Odorizzi.
I think he
fits perfectly.
I think they're looking for another big starter, and that's about it, really.
Just like Hyunjin Ryu and Robbie Ray, those are lefties, right? And Ross Stripling.
Yeah.
I think they're all lefties. So if you get like Odo, who's a righty, I want to say.
Think so, yeah.
I think Odorizzi is. Oh yeah, he's a righty. So I think he would be a perfect fit.
They're also hoping that Nate Pearson takes that big step up.
Yeah, and then 3 years, $45 million for Odorizzi, something like that.
Yeah,
I think that's a perfect fit.
So Ollie, I know this isn't the content where we do make you guess the stat games, but he was a mid-season acquisition last year. But do you know what Taijuan Walker's ERA plus was with the Blue Jays after they picked him up?
It was something ridiculous, right? Like 160.
Try again.
No, higher.
His full season ERA plus, including his time with the Mariners, was 160. While he was on the Blue Jays, his ERA plus was 325.
It fucking what?
Yeah.
Yeah, they might pick him up again. They might do that.
He definitely proved that he could succeed there.
All right, I'm game for that.
They might just be in talks for how big that contract is.
Yeah. I'm liking the look of their squad for this year. They also have a whole bunch of starting pitching depth. So while they still want another guy at the top of the rotation, guys that are here projected in relief, like Thomas Hatch and Anthony Kay, were both 3 to 4 inning relievers. They're basically AAA starters at this point who do really well in a relief role. So if things happen, they can get called up.
Yeah, let's see if some of those guys can step up this year.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Yeah. So they're projected to win 85 games, 7% chance to win the division.
Yeah.
You think they have a shot?
I think they're looking for that first wild card spot.
Yep.
That's what they're going to try for.
Yeah. They'll probably have to beat out either the Twins or the White Sox for the wild card spot, I think.
I can definitely see that happening.
Possibly the Rays, but I don't think the Rays will really get.
That's what everyone says about the Rays every year.
Well, we can talk about it. Is there anything else we want to say about the Blue Jays? I mean, I'll give their offseason a solid B.
I'd give them an A-.
Yeah, I'm thinking A- with a shift to A+ if they sign a big starter.
All right, we'll give it an A-.
Yeah, I think the only downside is how much money they have shelled out. There's potentially a lot of loss there if some of these deals don't work out.
But most of them are one-year deals, and I don't really have an issue with one-year deals. Then again, George Springer,
their payroll is also only $152 million. They still got room.
They haven't made big commitments yet, so that's why I would go for 3 years for Odorizzi, because you haven't made that big splash, except for Springer. There's no real big commitments on this roster.
Yeah, it's really just Springer.
All right.
Let's talk Rays.
Let's talk Rays. Oh, they're
last
so
year,
polarizing.
Second best team in the MLB.
Yeah. And then they traded away
everyone.
Their star pitcher. So first of all, I think there's a lot of people who say that the Rays are bad for baseball, and I can agree with it. I see what you mean. Lose the World Series, you have a payroll of about currently they sit at $63 million, and then you decide not to add but to subtract. I think that's I don't understand the reasoning behind it. I see why they do it. It's just it's not good for baseball.
Yeah, I think the counter argument to that is just that Kevin Cash works in mysterious ways, and
that's.
I think if they can continue to win and get to the playoffs like this, then I think that's okay. But I think if they do this and now they just tank, then I think that's terrible. I think this is a results based thing.
Yeah, if they tank. I don't see them tanking yet. I think they have a lot of players that they could still trade if they really want to tank, especially in their bullpen.
Yeah, I don't think they're intentionally tanking. I think they're just playing a little different game than we're used to seeing.
It's just weird because they got Blake Snell on a very affordable contract. He's a Cy Young winner. He was amazing down the stretch last year. Yeah, weird trade. Then they also refused to pick up the $15 million option for Charlie Morton, which was also weird. They lost Hunter Renfroe. They lost Aaron Loop, a guy who was surprisingly efficient last year out of the bullpen.
I still have nightmares from seeing Aaron Loop on the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I have nightmares from not seeing him on the Phillies, as he was traded to the Phillies and then he never played. And then it turns out that he's apparently a decent reliever, which is something we could have used last year.
So, is Chris Archer a suitable replacement for Blake Snell?
No.
No, I think it's really funny that, especially with the trade in hindsight, like the trade to the Pirates, that he's now back. And they also have Austin Meadows, and they also have Tyler Glass now.
And Dick Mountain.
Speaking of Dick Mountain, he also signed, indeed, Rich Hill, 1 year, $3 million. They got Mike Zunino back, 1 year, $3 million. They got Luis Pitino, who is a top prospect who came over in a Snell deal. I thought I'd mention him as well. I mean, like, the thing is, like, all the other big trades that the Padres made the past year, they haven't really had to part with any big time prospects except for Luis Pitino. So good on the Rays from getting him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really see it. I think they're gonna take a step back.
Yeah,
performance.
I'm giving them a C minus.
I'm giving them a D plus.
Yeah, I'm also giving them a D. We'll stick to D plus then. I think it's not the worst offseason to have, but it's pretty bad when you consider the fact that they went to the World Series and came 2 games.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Away from winning it.
It's bad in the context of where they ended last season.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think that it's bad in a vacuum. Well, it's bad in a vacuum, but not terrible in a vacuum.
No. All right.
I'm excited to see more of Randy Arozarena this year.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if he's actually a guy.
All right. Moving on to the Red Sox. They are in hell.
They are, yeah. But at least now they're dumping salary.
Yeah.
Getting rid of Benintendi, Dustin Pedroia, which has made a lot of people very sad.
They've gone up a few levels. They've gone up a few levels of hell. They're still in some circle of hell, but it's not as bad.
They still have a payroll of $189 million projected for next year, which is insane.
Yeah.
So that's mainly Chris Sale, what's his name, Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez.
Yeah.
And a lot of other, like Nathan Eovaldi.
How much is Rafael Devers getting?
I think he's at like 4.5 because he's in arbitration.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so a couple of things I want to talk about here is, first of all, Dustin Pedroia. I don't know if you've seen the YouTube video of Dustin Pedroia talking about how David Ortiz didn't know his first name was Dustin for a long time.
No, I didn't see that.
So Dustin Pedroia was talking about how he'd been playing together with David Ortiz for 10 years by then, I think. And he's always batting in front of David Ortiz. So Ortiz would have had enough opportunities to hear the name of Dustin Pedroia, like announcers or whatever. And then Pedroia was like getting ready to bat, and the catcher said to him like, "Hey, what's up, Dustin?" And then David Ortiz came up to Dustin Pedroia and was like, "What do you call you?" And then Pedroia's like, "Call me Dustin, that's my name." And David Ortiz is like, "Oh, I thought it was Pee-wee."
Pee-wee Pedroia?
Good shit.
David
All right,
Ortiz,
so that's
what
the
a
most
great guy.
interesting thing that's happened to the Red Sox this offseason.
Yeah, so, that's like a plus for their offseason. That really like ups their grade a little bit, I think. No. One other thing is that Nick Pivetta is on the Red Sox. Nick Pivetta was considered a breakout candidate for the Phillies in 2019. I was on the hype train for Nick Pivetta for a long time. I thought he was going to be amazing. He was named our number 2 starter, and then he
I'm
just
guessing
dropped
he
off a
wasn't.
cliff somewhere.
Yeah, all right. That checks out.
And then now he's at the Red Sox, and I can't wait to see him like get Cy Young votes at the end of the season.
All right.
So the question is, for the Red Sox this year, do you think that getting rid of these big three is sort of signaling a rebuild, or do you think they're trying to turn it around rather quickly?
They've got to be going into a rebuild, right? They're like, if this were a different sport, they'd be in cap hell right now.
I think they'll retool. They've still got plenty of quality on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
Too much for them to completely rebuild it. Because I think, like, for example, Alex Verdugo, who they traded for with Mookie Betts, and Bogarts, Devers, Martinez, Vasquez. Those are, and then they signed Enrique Hernandez.
Yeah,
Those
it's
are
big
moves.
It's big names all the way down the roster. They just haven't been able to deliver the last couple of years.
I think this is a decision season. I think they get to the trade deadline, they see where they're at, and they might just have a huge fire sale.
Yeah, they could do that at the deadline.
I think one of the reasons that they might be hesitant to do a full rebuild is because arguably the Rays window is closing. I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm completely wrong as everybody. The Blue Jays window is just opening. And the Yankees might also be somewhere a bit of a question mark, which makes.
So you think it's a good time
like,
to get in on it?
If we run into a couple of wins by accident this year, we might actually have a shot at getting close to a wild card spot. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, 2020 was also a really weird season, and of course they were awful in 2020. Mm-hmm. But a lot of these guys have had success in the past, and maybe we'll see with the return to a full-length season that some of these guys get back into form.
Yeah.
Right. Baltimore.
I'm going to ignore 2019.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna give them a solid B.
B?
I give them a B minus.
Yeah.
They signed... They lost three
good.
big guys, but they also picked up some, like, at the very least, some trade potential.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not spending too much on the new contracts. They're getting rid of some big money contracts, which is what you got to do when.
Yeah, I especially like the Enrique Hernandez trade pickup. I think he's a good fit for them, especially with Pedroia out now. Just a second baseman who can also play the outfield. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works, and he's a decent player. Was good in his time at the Dodgers. Yeah.
All right.
Baltimore.
The Baltimore Orioles, who, if the Red Sox are in hell, Baltimore is in super hell, where they've been since Edwin Encarnacion sent them there in 2016.
What a beautiful night that was, right?
Oh, it was.
I remember the whole thing about them not playing, or like Buck Showalter not using Zach Britton in that situation.
Yeah, that led to my favorite heckle ever. Later. So in the relatively early in the next season, I want to say April somewhere, the Orioles bullpen got shelled, and this was also against the Blue Jays. And some dude in the stands just yells, "What are you gonna do now, Buck?" to Orioles manager Buck Martinez.
Yeah. Oh boy,
fucking amazing.
Not a lot of movement for the Orioles this year.
No.
Not a ton of noteworthy losses or acquisitions.
I mean, they got
Freddie Galvez is a solid
Cy Young winner.
Yeah, I think that's the big one. I mean, I know I'm biased, but we got to talk about Felix Hernandez a little bit, who's been hot garbage in his last couple of years, but he did win a Cy Young award, and he's a fringe Hall of Fame pitcher.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get it back together after leaving Seattle. Yeah, which probably. That's how Mariners work.
That is usually how Mariners work, though. He spent a lot more time as a Mariner than they usually do before they get it back together.
That's fair.
Despite winning a Cy Young and being one of the best pitchers of the last 20 years, he's never seen a playoff game, and I don't know if the Orioles are the team to join if you want to change that.
I also really like Freddie Galvez as a sign. He's a very, very consistent player who basically never gets injured. Yeah,
I think Freddie Galvez is an amazing value pickup that they're probably going to trade at the deadline. That's probably how it's going to be.
So Orioles are still very much in a rebuild.
Yeah, so I can see them trading away for the guys they have on their roster now. I can see them trading away Trey Mancini.
Yeah,
he's a good player. That rotation is just full of names that I've never heard of except for Felix.
I know.
The only guy I knew, Alex Cobb, they traded him away.
The
bullpen is that's just a bunch of trial and errors, guy. Just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks is probably going to be their way. And then wait until their top prospect, Adley Rutschman, comes up. That's going to be exciting. But I don't know if they have anything else in the tank. Like Orioles, where their farm system is right now. There were new rankings. I think they're number 7.
Yeah, number 7.
Yeah,
not the worst place to be.
No, but they're like considering how
best.
deep they are right now, like how far down the
Baseball America gave them 7, and the Athletic gave them 18th.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof. Well, it's not as bad as the Washington Nationals, who are at 30.
Yeah.
It's also not as good as the Tampa Bay Rays, who are first. Hey, Seattle is second.
Yep.
Congrats, Barnes.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that.
So I'm considering not grading the Baltimore Orioles, giving them.
They're in hell. They haven't done anything.
They haven't done anything. They also haven't lost anybody, so it isn't a bad offseason. I think I'll just give them an NA.
Yeah, you don't get grades when you're in hell.
Yeah, I'd give them a B minus.
Like you can't do too much.
That's just so that we can compare at the end of the season to see how they did compared to expectations.
Right,
B minus it is.
B minus. Okay.
All right.
Who do we predict to win the division this year?
I want to say Blue Jays, but I think it's going to be, if the Yankees don't get injured, it's the Yankees.
Yeah, you got to predict the Yankees in this case, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think, we'd like to see someone else show up, but it's hard with the Blue Jays not proving themselves and the Rays potentially making downgrades across the board.
I agree.
I think if the Yankees get injured, then the Blue Jays become the default.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we can revisit it. We can revisit this at the All-Star break if it happens and see where we're at. I've got Yankees top, Blue Jays second, Rays, below that. I think they're gonna have a bad season this year, like comparatively to last season.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I can see the Red Sox making being competitive in September, possibly, just because they have a bunch of talent still there. So
so Rays and Sox are probably contenders for that second wild card spot.
Yeah.
Unless the Rays pull some bullshit out of their hats again.
Yeah. Which is what they do.
They do.
They'll find
are any of their prospects set to come up this year? I know that we're not really looking at pipeline stuff.
I think Wander Franco is coming up this year.
Coming up this year?
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, that potentially helps them out a lot.
That Luis Pitino is probably also coming up.
Well, searching for the Rays prospects on MLB.com gave me a 500 internal server error, so that's got to be good, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that's not right.
Okay, Wander Franco is at A+, so I don't think you'll...
No.
They got Randy, probably Luis Pitino coming up.
Yeah, Luis Pitino's put in 11 games last year.
Also got Brandon McKay, who's a two-way player. It's interesting. He already made his debut. So he's a left-handed pitcher and a DH. All right. I think that concludes our AL East grading. We'll be back next week with the AL Central, which is going to be a dumpster fire of a division, I think.
Woo!
Oh, no, wait. That's the AL West. Sorry.
No, I mean, all of the American... Yeah. The whole non-East American League, I think, is going to be kind of dumpster fire this year.
The AL Central is like a tire fire, like mildly interesting, but still like something you don't really want to watch. And then there's the AL West where it's a dumpster fire and you just can't take your eyes out of it, away from it.
Yeah,
we got to know. That way for 20 years for some of us.
Is this the year that Mike Trout makes the playoffs again?
I think
we'll talk about that in 2 episodes, I think.
Yeah, that's fair.
If they signed another pitcher between now and in 2 episodes, then maybe we can say yes. For now, I don't think so.
Mike Truck. All right.
Thank you so much. Be sure to check out our other stuff on the YouTube and Spotify and the other stuff where you get your content.
MBGF.
We're on Apple Music now, right?
We are also on Apple Music. We are also on Google Podcasts. I think we're on 7 platforms with our podcast right now. So
7 entire platforms.
Anywhere you get your podcast, be sure to check us out.
Find us on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, because I guarantee YouTube ain't it.
Nope, that ain't it. All right. See you later.
Goodbye.